Hi, welcome back to the Wisdom of Your Soul. I'm Janice Mary and I'm your host. I'm so happy to be back here talking about how we connect to this energy that lives within us. So many people are connecting. I just had a friend text me this morning about a doctor who's doing all this work on connecting to your higher self. And, that sounds to me like connecting to your soul. So we're all tapping in and we're all connecting and we're all bringing back such wisdom and knowledge and help and new techniques so that we can live here in a much more centered, calm, happy, and fulfilling way. So when all the things that happen to us, good and bad, we can weather it really, really well because we know that we are a soul, and the soul is in our body, and it's eternal, so we don't really go anywhere. So that can take off some of the pressure of this life, that we exist, and if we don't get everything we want done in this lifetime, we'll have other lifetimes to do that, and it's a wonderful feeling, and it's a wonderful thought, and it does take the pressure off feeling like you are not achieving or doing what you wanted to do, or you feel like you're running out of time. We don't have to feel that way because we have another lifetime to come back and do it again, which is so great to know. But the most thing that I think really helps is that it helps us to feel really safe and comfortable in a world that can feel the exact opposite. A lot of my clients that I see are very fearful and scared and say a lot of negative things to themselves because this world at times does not feel like a very good, safe atmosphere. It doesn't feel like we're safe sometimes. So when we connect to this energy of love, that helps us to feel safe no matter what's going on in this world. We know that we're supported, we're taken care of, and that we're not alone. So if you're feeling alone, or if your friends or your partners aren't available to you, you can tap into this support system that is always there for you. So it can be a bridge for you that when other people aren't available, because we're all so busy and crazy and doing a million things, that sometimes we don't have time to kind of sit with the people that we love and talk to them, that you can meditate and you can ask for guidance from a guide. You can connect to your soul, which then connects to everybody in spirit. So you can connect to people that have passed on. You can connect to guides. You can connect to angels. So that's quite a bit of support. We're not alone. We have a lot of people watching out for us and helping us. And the more we live that way, the more we live in a much, much more intuitive way. And we don't live so much in our mind all the time and believing all of the thoughts that kind of get us down and really sometimes don't have anything nice to say about ourselves. So it's really an amazing thing. I read a book just recently called Changed in a Flash, and I'll post the author and the title again in the information section because it was an amazing book. And so this woman basically got struck by lightning, and she had a near-death experience. So she died, and she talks all about this experience, and I can't do it justice, but I just found this book so amazing because the way she describes heaven and the feelings that she felt and what she sees really reminds me so much of how I feel when I connect to my soul energy. I've read other books about near-death experiences, and I feel like I can really, really relate to them. Even though I've never had a near-death experience, it awakens something in me that feels very familiar of when I go into the soul energy. It's the same. I see the same things. I hear the same things. I'm downloaded with knowledge for myself and other people that I don't know how it got downloaded, and it's very, very hard to put into words. And throughout the book, she says that often. She says, I can't really put into words how beautiful the spirit world was and what happened and what they taught me. I now know, but to translate it into words is very, very difficult. And I say all the time, when I connect to this soul energy, I can barely put it into words. Words don't do it justice. So I just find it fascinating that when I read a book about a near-death experience that I can really, really relate to, because it really wakes up something within me. So I would really highly recommend that book. The first part of the book, the first half, is all about her experience with the spirit world, and how when she passed over, she was not alone, that she was greeted, and nobody's alone, and everybody's greeted with somebody and is guided, and is in a place that feels safe and comfortable to them. So what she was saying is that you basically create your own heaven. So whatever makes you feel safe and comfortable is what you would create. So she felt very safe in her garden. So when she passed on, she was in a beautiful, beautiful garden. And she said the garden was so gorgeous. It had all these beautiful flowers, but the colors were more vibrant and more alive. And there were actually more colors than the colors that we know. And she didn't even have any words to describe them. And she knew that this was a really, really safe place for her. And she saw other people in her garden too. But she intuitively knew that their heaven probably didn't look like a garden. Like their heaven looked like the thing that would make them feel safe. So if you love the beach, you might, when you pass on, be put on the beach with other people, but you will intuitively know that everybody is in their own heaven, so to speak. So it was so fascinating and so interesting. I would highly recommend it because, once she passed on, she didn't feel any pain and she wasn't scared. She knew kind of what was happening, and she just, was guided, and she just felt so loved. And she even said she has never felt so unconditionally loved before. And I have definitely felt that same way, that the love that I feel from the soul and in spirit, you can't even put into words. It's not like a human love. It's so deep and so unconditional, and you just know that you're very, very loved and worthy. So it's a great book. It's an amazing book, and I just loved it. So I would highly, highly recommend Changed in a Flash. It talks all about her experience and what happened to her, and how she did have a choice to come back into her own body. She could have passed on and left, but she chose to come back, and she said it was a very, very hard choice because she didn't want to leave. It was such a beautiful place, and it was so filled with love that she didn't want to leave. So that says a lot about what happens to us when we go back into the spirit world. Just another really, really comforting book, and it'll awaken something in you, because we're all spirit. So as you're reading it, it will help you to remember where you come from, because we all come from the same place, and it'll help you to even connect to your soul energy a little bit more, because it's a reminder. It's a reminder of who we are, where we come from, what happens to us, and it's just phenomenal. So I hope you get a chance to check out that book and read it. And, I think it will really help you a lot. And it'll be a nice reminder to connect into the soul energy. So today what I wanted to talk about, I talked about Abraham-Hicks before. I love them. Esther Hicks, who channels entities that help her talk about the law of attraction. So I get her quotes every day, and I would highly recommend that if you don't do this, to sign up for her free quotes. They'll come to your email every day. So it's a nice way to start your day. It's a nice way to connect to your soul energy, and to realize that we have so much control over our lives and how to create our lives. And I thought that this particular quote was really interesting because when I'm working with people, this comes up a lot, especially in couples counseling. So I want to read it to you and discuss it a little bit, okay? So this is the quote. It is very difficult to understand what anybody else's experience is. There aren't enough words to really understand what anybody else is living. Physical beings want things to be the same. They want people to think the same. You work rather hard at sameness, but you will never win that battle because from the non-physical, diversity is known to be the most beneficial part of the game. So that just struck me because we do like the same. We like to be the same. We like to have friends that are the same. We like to be in relationships and feel like our partners are on the same page, so to speak. And we just feel more comfortable when people are perceiving the world, living in the world, and doing things in the world that we do. And, we don't want to beat ourselves up for that. It's just more comfortable to be around people that are like us. That's understandable, completely understandable. However, we are also unique, and we all really perceive our world so differently that, we are the same, but we're so different. And that the differences are really sometimes a stumbling block for us. And sometimes because people are different, we decide we don't want to be friends with them, we don't want to be around them, and we can block them out. So it does block our ability to get to know other people. So it is a challenge for us to look at people's differences in a way of curiosity. Oh, how does this person react to this situation? I wonder. Or why is this person reacting to this situation? I wonder. Instead of us taking it personally, oh, I don't like the way they're reacting, so I'm going to move away from them. I had a couple come in and they just got into this huge fight right in front of me, like they often do, trigger themselves in my office. And the fight was over something very simple. It was over some kind of work they were doing in the house. And the husband was seeing the situation one way, and the wife was seeing the situation another way. And I was listening to them, and because they didn't view what happened around this work in the house the same, the woman wanted the workers to do one thing and the husband wanted the workers to do another thing. So they were getting into a fight about that. And they were so upset with each other that they weren't on the same page. And that's what really struck me the most, is that they were so hurt that they were looking at the situation differently and taking that so personally. And it's understandable because we want what we want. So if he wanted the installation to be put in one way and she wanted it to be put in another way, we can get very stubborn. We want what we want, basically. So I was talking to them, and I just kind of encouraged them to say, all right, well, let's just really explore each side. Let's explore from your husband's perspective and then your perspective. And I listened to both of them, and both perspectives made complete sense to me. I could see the reason why the husband wanted it his way, and I could see the reason why the wife wanted her way. So nobody was wrong. So that's what I always have to kind of help people to see, is that, just because you two have completely different perspectives doesn't mean that somebody's wrong, and it doesn't mean that you have to hate each other, and it doesn't mean that there's something wrong now with your relationship, because people can take it that far. It's like, well, you don't agree with me with this. I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't think I could be with somebody that can't see my point of view. And it can go that bad, that fast. I have seen it. So basically, it's really important for us to just really be open to the differences and to value these differences, which is so hard for us to do, and to open up to listening to it, like basically a therapist does. And really all I did for them was give both of them the space to talk about their perspective, why they felt what they felt, to be validated and to be heard. And once both of them did that, they felt better. And then I could say to them, listen, I could see both of your perspectives are very, very valuable. And I could see why each of you wants what you want. And once that happened, the arguments started to subside. I could tell that they were not that upset with each other, which was really, really good.